press, South Sudanese all over the world, friends of South Sudan, members of international community, South Sudanese communities in Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First and foremost, we, the members of South Sudan Students Association in Kenya, wish to register our delight for the resumption of the peace negotiation between the government of the Republic of South Sudan and Sudan People Liberation Movement in opposition. As we are all aware, the violence has taken a year since it erupted in Juba that has inflicted pain and damages on not only the South Sudanese but also across the regions. However, we would like to urge our leaders to expedite the peace process in order to alleviate human suffering and embark on the reconciliation process of uniting South Sudanese once again. We therefore urge our leaders to address the matters of concern to South Sudanese and chant their personal differences and put the interests of South Sudanese above theirs. Nevertheless, we are optimistic that if this peace agreement reached and signed today, then it will chart the formation of the transitional government of national unity that will serve to unite the people of South Sudan and shape the new political and social dispensation for peace among the people of South Sudan. Furthermore, it is also our belief that this government will initiate the much-needed reforms in our country and thus heal our wounded and embattered society. Specifically, we urge the two leaders and their supporters to bury their differences and work together for the sake of peaceful South Sudan. We also urge our leaders to emphasize on bringing final peace to South Sudanese because millions are suffering as a result of ongoing conflicts, and therefore we urge them to prioritize the signing of peace agreement and not adjourn it again. More importantly, we urge our fellow South Sudanese to avoid divisive utterances on the social media platforms and work together as one people, one South Sudanese. Thus, our South Sudanese should know that it was not their choice to be born in the Republic of South Sudan, but God's creation, and thus appreciate, embrace, and live together as one people in their motherland. Subsequently, we encourage South Sudanese, wherever they are, to preach peace and demand their leaders to do the same, as it's the only way to build a prosperous society. We would also like to commend the Intergovernmental Authority on Development and the IGAD Special Envoys for their steadfast commitment to the peace process. We recall IGAD determination as articulated in its summit communique of January 31st, 2014, inclusive negotiations toward an agreement that addresses necessary reforms. We also like to appreciate our Council of Ministers for considering the call for postponement of the national elections until later date as an encouragement of the ongoing negotiations in Addis Ababa. We also register our appreciations with the Troika members, that is United States, the United Kingdom, and Norway, for the continued support throughout the peace negotiations in Addis Ababa. Finally, we thank His Excellency, the President of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and other African leaders for their continued support in the peace process. Going forward, we hope to continue these good diplomatic relations in the future. May God bless the people of the Republic of South Sudan, the people of Kenya, and the people of Africa. Thank you.
Of our country's future, to express the much needed peace in our country. Peace is what we needed as citizens who have come to this country to acquire education. Because our dreams every time is that we go home and build the country so that we become a prosperous nations that has an objective to bring peace and unity among our people. Peace is a dominant theme of all nations. People across the world have raised their voice in favor of peace, justice, equality, and unity. And South Sudan is not an exception. The ongoing war has displaced over 2.5 million people, and 2.5 million more are actually at risk of famine. And we call on the warring parties to end these conflicts as much as possible. And as talk resumed today on the 20th in Addis Ababa, we call on the warring parties to compromise, to put the interests of the nation first before them. Because in the end, if it is adjourned for another 1 month or 2, then they will have no countries to govern tomorrow. Nobody can beat his chest that he's a president or a prime minister of a society that is impoverished, that has over 1 million people displaced, there are 1 million people at risk of hunger. You can only be proud when you see your people united, when you see your people working, when you see your people being treated, and that is the objective we fought for. We fought for very many years against the oppression, and today it seems like we are forgotten. And like the saying goes, the simple way of losing sight of where you are going is by losing sight of where you are coming from. It has appeared that we have forgotten the past that we are coming from, the past of oppression, the past of poverty, the past of marginalization. This is what we are replicating among ourselves today. So we are calling on our leaders who have been involved in one way or the other in bringing us today, that let them realize that they are selfless, they have given their life for us to be where we are today. It's not about them, it's about the future, it's about we together. So we urge them to compromise, to end war, because that war has led us to be people that are laughing stocks. We become a laughing stock to the regions, to the world, and we cannot wait. We cannot wait. They have the responsibility, they have the duty as the leaders to see the suffering of the people. We cannot be refugees throughout. We must realize this, that enough is enough. We fought for very many years, and if it is about power, I know they have the military and economic might to destruct South Sudan, but we are appealing on them to ensure that that conflict ends immediately. This is what we are coming to say today, and we are urging our people everywhere they are, across the world, in Sudan, in Kenya, and everywhere, that each person has the responsibility to preach peace, because peace is what takes people forward. When we don't have peace, then we will not go anywhere. Those that have died recently, if we continue with this rhetoric, and then you must also know that you do not have the future. We are also grateful to our people, international friends who have stood with us since this crisis unfolded on December 15, 2013, those who have stood with us. And we call on you to come up with a resolution that you will impose, if at all these people, our leaders, do not heed to our call. There is the voice of peace that we are calling today. And if at all they do not listen to us, then we will be forced. We will be forced to even call on IGAD to, to adopt the Nyerere resolutions against the people of Uganda. We have to come up with solutions that bring peace, that you will impose on the people of South Sudan. Because the interests of the country, like Joshua is trying to say, that there come a time when the interests of a nation become, must be put ahead of personal interest. This is what we are calling today, and we are grateful that we are hopeful that our leaders will listen to us. Today they are meeting at KICC, and I am sure they will listen to this bush. Once they are at Addis Ababa, they must ensure that that peace is signed as soon as people want it. Thank you very much.
Date for my fellow South Sudanese, knowing that they always lack unity. And we have come this morning to proclaim one word, which is peace. And I will put it in another way: peace like honey and milk. Because when there is a violence always, everybody run for peace. We have gathered here today knowing that South Sudanese, they are people who lack unity. And we are here to demonstrate the same spirit again, to take it back to our beloved leaders, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, General Salva Kiir, and our leader of the opposition, Dr. Riek Machar, because we would love them to come together and end this tragic movement we are in, because the country is still crying and we need to achieve peace. For how long are we going to sustain this life? So that's why we are here today, begging with great humility. They will listen to us, hearing our voice wherever they will be today. As they go and sit down in Addis, if they can convince themselves and say, the country life is in our hand, let's do something to end this tragic time. And we are begging upon them to carry it on with peace, to end this. And we don't need another time for sustainability and to extend all adjournment. So we need peace to reach to every angle of the Republic of South Sudan. And may God bless the Republic of Kenya. They have been really, really working harder and harder with great mutual relationship with us and across the nations of Africa and the entire world. Indeed, South Sudan is a country that's been loved by so many. And our leaders, they know very well. It is time for them to come together and end this. And I will repeat again, I put the motto, peace like honey and milk. That's what we are hoping for. And that's what we are looking for our leaders to come together and end everything. And thank you.
Actually, we are expressing our view on the peace process, and we are really supporting the process for us to ensure that the peace must come to South Sudan. On behalf of the students in Nairobi, we are very eager to achieve peace in South Sudan. As we speak, we have been feeling that there is a pain, our people are suffering, and it is also our duty to make sure that there is a peace in South Sudan. And at the same time, the peace has actually has resumed back in Addis Ababa, and we are also adding our voice for our leaders to ensure that there is a peace. And also we are appreciating our cabinet, the Council of Ministers, for the postponement of the national election, for them now to achieve peace in the country, which is the most important thing. We are also supporting that for us to have the lasting peace in our country. It is also our concern as a student in Nairobi to ensure also to contribute to the peace process in Addis Ababa. So we are adding our voice for IGAD and the international community to push for this peace to be achieved within next month. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. As we expressed by my fellow South Sudanese fellows and students, that the call for peace is a genuine thing. Everywhere you go in the world today, you'll find that a society that has no peace has no future. Economically speaking, when we look at the way we are living today, the way our mothers are living, the way our young people are living, including us here in Kenya, it is so saddening. In 2011, 9th of July, we rained on the streets of Nairobi, the streets of Addis Ababa, the streets of Cairo, the streets of New York, and the streets of Sydney, celebrating peace, celebrating the love that we have for our country, celebrating the independence that we got. That was a great history that we wrote. But a few years down the line, what is happening? It is so saddening, and we know that our leaders are capable men who have worked for all the years for South Sudan. We know that they have the country at heart, and this time they will bring a lasting solution to this great nation. So we're here as students, as the future of this bright nation, South Sudan, to put in our voice that please do what you can. There's no need of adjourning this peace process again. Thank you, and may God bless you. Wherever you are, please give us peace.
Student body, we are here to just air out the voice of the students, because it's not only here in Kenya that we only have refugees. We have refugees somewhere else. We don't also have educational access in the country, in which we believe that if we have peace at home, there will be a possibility of people getting back to continue with education. We are calling upon our leaders to hear the voice of the students, because we believe that a country without education, there's no future. We are here in Kenya today that because there are people who are well educated to make sure that the economy grow on daily basis. And we want our leaders to put into consideration the economy of South Sudan, because we believe with much education that we want, we should be able to raise that country. And if we don't put that forward, it means that there's no economy that will grow as fast as compared to the rest of the countries in the world. As a student association in Kenya, we are urging all our leaders to kindly put into consideration the fact that South Sudan needs peace, and we all of us need to enjoy the fruits of that nation. With these few remarks, I believe our voice will be heard by all people in South Sudan and the rest of the world, and also here in Kenya, that let's embrace to bring peace back to our country. And thank you. May God bless you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we have gathered here today, our main purpose is to at least encourage the ongoing negotiation in Addis Ababa, such that our leaders can at least bring the peace that we have been yearning. It's true that we, the youth of South Sudan, have witnessed the independence of our country. And we have also witnessed the current war that has affected our communities back at home. Consequently, we are calling for our leaders to end this conflict, such that we will be having a freedom of movement, where you can at least travel from south to the west, from north to east. And for this to happen, there must be a peace, and in fact, there must be at least a friendly among the communities in South Sudan. And because of that, we, the youth, are encouraging and in support of the ongoing and, in fact, the resumption of the peace in Addis today, such that our people, our leaders, both the government side and the rebel side, could at least come together and sign the agreement that will at least last forever and forever, such that we, the communities, will have the peace that we are yearning, and also will be working freely as it used to be. We wanted to stand as one South Sudanese, as one people, as we are born together. It is not our choice to be born in South Sudan, but godly made. So we, the youth of South Sudan, will be very happy with our leaders if they at least sign the peace, and in fact, if we will be interacting peacefully like we used to be. This is my call, and this is the call of the youth as we are gathering today. Thank you.
We are here
not begging for peace, but we are demanding for peace, simply because peace is a natural, phenomenal ingredient for development. And there's no any country that will develop without peace. We have seen examples of other countries that have come up in different ways, but they always host peace as one of the best ingredient in developmental goals. We as South Sudanese, we also demand for the same. On behalf of South Sudanese students in Kenya, on behalf of South Sudanese citizens in Kenya, on behalf of South Sudanese comrades in Kenya, we demand for peace. And it's something that someone should take serious, not for granted. And if there's anyone somewhere that is actually chanting or chanting for peace to be brought down or not to be achieved, that person must be a devil's worshiper. And we don't allow that as South Sudanese. As a person, individually, I encourage peace. I live peacefully within myself, and I would want our citizens to live in the same manner. I'm grateful. I will not go past that because everything has been repeated by my colleagues, but I said a luta continua for the search of peace. We demand for it. It is our right, and it must be achieved. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I think our message today is very clear. Our message is that we are demanding for peace in South Sudan. We are urging the government and the leader of the SPLM in opposition to come back to the negotiating table and to put the interest of the people of South Sudan first. It is evident that the government and the opposition cannot afford the effects of this war. The war itself is expensive, and it is hurting the economy of the Republic of South Sudan. So what we are saying is that we are asking them to show leadership. We are asking the entire SPLM community. They were once part of the same group. They worked together, and they achieved what was most important of all, and that was the peace that we got in the 205 CPA agreement. So we are asking them to show leadership, to come together and put the interest of the people of South Sudan first. Then from there on, they can sit down and put down the reforms that are much needed in the country. We are urging the South Sudanese, each and everyone, the ones in the diaspora and the people back home, to forgive one another and try to work for the interest of peace in South Sudan. We have done a lot as South Sudanese to find this peace today, and we have been in war for the last 27 years. This cannot go to waste. So that's why we are here today as the student leadership in Nairobi, asking both parties in Addis Ababa as they come back to the negotiating table today. We are asking them to listen to our views, to put into consideration the sufferings of the many South Sudanese and the students that are outside the country. We are urging them to come together and work for peace. Thank you.